whatever they could with the means that they had, and may have been using some apps which we want to discourage people to do. We want people to use
Yeah, this time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
How are you? How are you?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please have my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm good by your mercy.
Please, you should hear. Maharaj,
Very great.
she's the one who asks questions like this.
All right, can we start? Can we start now? Okay. All right. 2:30. Yeah. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya. Stotrasita Sishimad. Divine Grace is Founder Acharya. Jagat Guru Sri Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya. Stotrasita Sishimad. Divine Grace. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavandi Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Thanks for Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita. Gadadara Sivasari Gaur Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Janakura Radha Davandam Ki Jai. Mathuradam Ki Jai. Nawadu Mai Kudam Ki Jai. Jagannath Puridam Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganges Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. Glory to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Pada Krishna Bhutta Buddha Devata Trita Shambhini. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shitana Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhata Trita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitanjana Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurun Sri Taparakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitam Jai Krishna Karuna Sindhudina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchoko Pataru Bescha Vasundigare Vacha Titanam Abnavyu Vaishnavyu Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhaktarana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhakti Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Hey Krishna. We continue our study Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Today we continue from text 10. And before then I want to say something. From verse 3 to 8. From verse 3 to 8, Krishna hinted at discount karma. Work with both knowledge and detachment. Discount karma. In other words, contains karma and gyan. Discount karma allows a soul to be active, but in a detached way, not with attachment. That is why it is karma. The soul is acting with detachment. And that would bring the purification that the soul would develop knowledge, so that it is protected from material entanglement. Higher still, I said it in text 9, is when one's knowledge increases to include knowledge of Vishnu. Vishnu karma. Vishnu Jagat. The device activities one then performs had offered to him with devotion. This karma is meant to lead one to bhakti. So having gotten this knowledge, what if a person is overly attached to material life and cannot perform this karma yoga? To explain this, Krishna now is the yoga ladder, which we gain from text 10 to 16, yoga ladder. From text 10 to 16 is yoga ladder. Here it is. Go back a bit. Just a minute. Just go back a minute. Yes, Vedic Karma Kanda step. Vedic Karma Kanda step. It is Karma Kanda because it's not yet pure. But the intention can be gradually purified. That is yoga ladder. Yoga ladder. So now we begin. 10 to 16, which describe the progressive stages to the yoga ladder from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. All right. So now we'll look at text 10. Sahaya Gyapaja Sristva Urovacha Prajapati Anena Prasadishadham Eswabho Eswabho.
In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of man and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation.
Yes. Is it not Krishna's mercy? It's Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy. Who is speaking this verse? Who is speaking?
Krishna, Maharaj.
All right, thank you. Lord Vishnu. So he's speaking here. That in the beginning, he did not leave us alone. Krishna made the perfect arrangement to help us make progress in Krishna consciousness. Huh? We will live peacefully now and achieve liberation at the end by this performance of Jagya. So Krishna gave us the system, the process, even though we are deviant, disobedient children, misbehaved. Krishna, being the Supreme Father, still gave us opportunity to make advancements. Still, the people are not inclined. So what's the purpose of creation? The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned soul to learn how to perform Jagya sacrifices for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world, they can live very comfortably without anxiety. And after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned soul. By performance of Jagya, the conditioned soul will gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. You see, we mentioned in the beginning that in people who are not in Krishna consciousness will always remain baffled, confused, frustrated, and miserable. Only fortunate souls who have taken to Krishna consciousness will be happy. Is it not true? Don't look at this purport of Prabhupada. Why people are miserable in this matter, and how a devotee can be happy by doing what Krishna has desired that we should do. By performing Jagya as Krishna recommended, we will be happy. We will have a destination. We will know where we are going. Our destination is we're going back to God by performance of this Jagya. So two results for sacrifices there. One is what? What are the two results of performing Jagya?
Maharaj, it is written in the screen, the key. Fulfilling of
Yes.
all material desires, and then
Yes.
gradually purifies the heart and exit the material world. Go back and back to God.
Yes. So it's not important for us to do the Jagya recommended by Krishna? Is it important?
But Maharaj, we have directly come to Bhakti Yoga. Then why to do all this? Just to come Krishna conscience. We have directly come to Bhakti Yoga by the mercy of Guru and Krishna.
Bhakti Yoga is not Jagya?
Yes, that is Yajna.
Yeah, Jagya. Yeah, chanting Hare Krishna, what is that?
That is, yes, that is Yajna.
It's a sacrifice. It's sacrifice. You are doing deity worship. What is that? That is sacrifice. So Krishna wanted to do these things. The topmost Jagya recommended Kali Yuga is the chant of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. That's the topmost Jagya, especially for this. Chanting of the holy name is all day throughout the 4 ages, particularly for this age. It is necessary, it is compulsory. This Sankirtan Jagya is the most important. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sankopanga Asta Parashadam Jagya Sankirtan Prajayati Sumedasa. In this age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence, Sumedasa, would worship the Lord who is accompanied by his associates, Sangha, Panga, Asta, Parsadam, by performance of Sankirtan Jagya. Other Jagyas prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtan Jagya is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita 9:14. Yes, let us do this Jagya because it is recommended by Lord Krishna. And if we do this, we're not going to lose anything except we are going to be free from sinful life. We're going to miss sinful life. We're going to miss suffering. We're going to miss going to hell. We miss all that. We gain Krishna. We gain satisfaction, fulfillment, and purifying existence, purifying senses, purifying existence, purifying life. So 3:11, 3:14, 3:15 to 3:16. This is all yoga. It's guiding us, taking us from yoga. Yoga ladder means what? It begins from animal platform, animal preference, sense gratification. So we are graduating to the topmost platform. Text 11. Devan Bhavaya Tanena Deva Bhavaya Bhavayantuvan Parasparam Bhavayanta Shreya Bharam Abhapsyata.
The demigod, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all.
Yeah. So what do we learn from here? What do we learn from this? Text 11. Just one thing you can learn from here, text 11. Very fast.
Maharaj, it's like doing a business. Like if we are getting air, so we should be thankful to demigods for everything, air, water, everything. For everything, we should offer something to demigod also, being grateful to them that they are also giving us everything on behalf of Krishna, like this.
Thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
Maharaj, I would like to say that, of course, in this verse, it is written that we have to worship demigods and we have to maintain a good relationship with demigods by worshipping them. But further in the Bhagavad Gita also, we would say that we would see that it is recommended that one intelligent person should not go for worshipping demigods. Rather, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we can see this in the Govardhan Leela, how Lord Krishna had lifted the Govardhan hill, breaking the false ego of Indra when Brajvasis were going to worship Lord Indra, and he had refused everybody to not to do that and do the worship of Govardhan hill like that.
Okay, thank you. You look at the sloka here. Krishna is teaching us to cooperate with the demigods. Should cooperate. Cooperating with demigods don't necessarily mean worship them. That is not the first meaning. Cooperation. We should respect them. To respect a demigod doesn't mean we should worship. It's not worshiping. We should recognize that somebody is there supporting our existence under Krishna's direction. We should recognize that. It's not better to worship demigod than to worship nothing. Which one is better?
Worshipping
Worshipping
Krishna.
Which one is better? Worshipping nothing, zero, or worshipping demigod? Which one is better?
Worshipping demigod.
Worshipping demigod.
Yes, it's better because it will lead us to worship the Supreme Personality. Because the idea is that somebody superior is there. Not to have somebody at all to worship, it has a very, very negative effect in our consciousness. So here, Krishna is not recommending worshiping demigod. Krishna is drawing our attention to be appreciative. We should respect somebody who is higher than us, that is supporting us. We should appreciate that. Then we can learn how to appreciate Krishna, the Supreme. If we don't start from the beginning, how will we get to the end? Or to begin from the beginning. So Jagya, what is the chief purpose of all Jagyas?
To satisfy Vishnu.
Yes.
See the screen. Read the screen. See the screen.
It is stated also in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all kinds of yagyas. Bhuktaram yagya-tapatam. Therefore, ultimate satisfaction of the Yagyapati is the chief purpose of all yagyas. When these yagyas are perfectly performed, naturally the demigods in charge of the different departments of supply are pleased, and there is no scarcity in the supply of natural products.
Yes, that's it. Performance of Jagyas has many sided benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. This is what we are planning. It's in the purport. Last paragraph. By performance of Jagyas, all activities become purified, as it is stated in the Vedas. Jagyas, all activities become purified, as stated in the Vedas. Ahara sadhu sattva suddhi, sattva suddho durva smriti, smriti lambe sarabha grantinam, vipra moksha. By performance of Jagya, one's eatable becomes sanctified. And by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of existence, finite tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation. And all this combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present-day society. Perfect. Perfect. Yes. Text 12.
Maharajji, I have a question. Like in the previous verse, in the 10th verse, material demands were there. When we perform yagyas, material demands are fulfilled by Lord Vishnu or by demigods. And in this verse, like you told us that we should respect the demigods, we should be thankful, we should express our gratitude towards them. So am I right in this thinking?
Yes. Yes.
And our material demands should be just bare minimum, which could maintain our body and soul together. Am I right?
Yes, that is what we should do.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Yes. 12. Istan Bogan Hibo Deva Dashanti Jagabhavatan Taidatam Apradaya Idyu Yopunte Sena Evasa.
In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief.
Yes. Certainly a thief. Are we not thieves?
No, Maharaj.
We are thieves. We are thieves. Are we not thieves?
No, Maharaj, we are not. We are practitioners, so we are not. We are offering everything to Krishna.
Everything to Krishna. Yes, you are devotee, so you are not. Yes.
Yes, we are thieves, Maharaj, because we are not offering everything ourselves to Krishna totally, partially.
Yes. Yes. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agent of the Lord for sanctification and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves. Therefore, we are punished by the laws of nature. A society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. That is what Papa said in purport 12. Yes. So as a devotee, we are offering to you, so we are different. But non-devotees, thieves. Thieves. We have to be free from being a thief, then should serve Krishna, should worship Lord Krishna completely, because everything belongs to Krishna, including ourselves, belongs to Krishna. And we have to be fully engaged in Krishna consciousness and use every single paraphernalia in worshiping Krishna. Denying use anything for Krishna service is also improper, because everything belongs to him. And they are all meant for his service. Yes. One should know, however, that all the necessities of life that the human society acquires are supplied by the demigod agent of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Take, for example, all the eatables of human society. Thieves. These eatables include grains, fruit, vegetables, milk, sugar, etc. for the persons in the mode of peace. And also eatables for the non-vegetarians, like meat, none of which can be manufactured by men. We take all these things and use them without having respect for them. It is dangerous. It is sinful. But Krishna consciousness is a solution. We should take to Krishna consciousness and offer everything to Krishna, the supreme proprietor of everything. In this way, we are not obligated to anybody. Nobody. Nobody. Freedom. Freedom. So we are following the regulative principles of freedom. Yes.
Maharaj, can I ask something?
Yes.
Maharaj, when I'm reading, then a devotee's point of view is going on in my mind. That is Krishna Tushti Jagat Tushta. From 3.10, we have reached to 3.12. So what should be my consciousness, that what Arjun consciousness was there at that time? So not to think that I'm a devotee. So everything when I'm reading, I'm thinking like Krishna Tushti Jagat Tushta. I'm not able to get into the essence that why Krishna is saying or making Arjun understand. So I should make.
Yes, Arjun wanted to artificially renounce. Arjun wanted to go to the forest. Renunciation. Krishna told him, no, that's not the process. You cannot renounce without having purified mind. Without having knowledge, you cannot renounce. And without the purification of the heart, you cannot get the purified heart without performing our prescribed duty. Perform a prescribed duty. So Krishna started to answer Arjun's questions by telling him that no, you have to do your prescribed duty to get man purified. With that by performing that jaggi, you get the man purified. With the purification, will develop knowledge. When the knowledge will develop with you, then we can practice renunciation. And Krishna is just talking about the Niskam Karma Yoga. What's the process of that? What's the process of that? Working with detachment. This is what Krishna is teaching. I took it from 8 to 8. From 9, Krishna explained the principal working, that working without detachment, it will lead us to take shelter of Vishnu. See, we are progressing. So take it to text 9, which is progression. When we get to text 9, Krishna started teaching us the yoga ladder, beginning from 10 to 16. Does it make sense?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay.
Maharaj, but in the verse 10 to 16, there is this progressive yoga ladder. And before this progressive yoga ladder, in 9th verse only, Krishna has emphasized that karma yoga is to be done, which is basically sacrifice is to be done for Vishnu and no one else. So shouldn't this verse have come afterwards? I mean, after this lot of 10 to 16?
No. Karma, the other day we explained, karma is activity, but it has to, then it will produce 2 results. Either it is binding karma or it is a freeing karma. And how to deal with that is explaining, it has to be done with detachment. If you want to be free, if you want to be free from the reaction, then you have to do it for Krishna. And the Krishna is telling us in step by step, this has to be done by respecting the agent of Krishna, demigod. We should appreciate, not worshiping them, we should appreciate them. We should recognize what they're doing, showing them respect. And that will lead us to appreciating and recognizing the Supreme Personality, Krishna. This is where we are going. So Krishna is systematically teaching this. We should know what it means by not performing jagya. We are thieves, and we should not be surprised why we are suffering, because we are following the path of suffering. If we want to follow the path of joy and satisfaction, peace, then we should follow our activities to be dedicated to the pleasure of Vishnu. So Krishna already called us a thief here. If we don't offer everything to him, it's a thief. But Krishna is going to explain in text 18. Jagya Sista Sina Santa Multiti Sarva Kridu Saha. Puntiti to Agam Papa. Ye Vajanti Atma Karana. Atma Karana. Does it make sense to you, Prabhu?
Yes, Maharaj, I got it. Maharaj, I still, if we go to verse 16, so, I mean, even after going to verse 16, it doesn't become clear that, that rather than worshipping demigods, Krishna, doing sacrifice for Krishna directly is better. I mean, if this verse could have come after 16th verse, I mean, as the last part of this part, 10 to 16, that karma kana to karma, I guess it would have been better, given a better understanding. I mean, of course, Krishna is Krishna, but it would have been given better understanding that ultimate thing is best is to worship Krishna only and not the demigods. So this is
Krishna told Arjuna to renounce. What is at the chapter 18? He didn't tell him to renounce that stage, because we need to pass through certain purification processes to get to the acquired intelligent and knowledge to be able to know where I should renounce. This is what Krishna is doing. So if you are not trained, how will you know the benefit? Because I say, why should I renounce? Renounce what? Why? Why should I work for the whole day and night for 1 month and I collect my salary and I'm going to give you? Why? Until you train me to understand the purpose of doing that, the benefit I'll get by doing that, then I can, oh, okay, thank you. Now I can surrender to you. So we have to understand first. You have to undergo the training first. So Krishna is doing his thorough job, but training was first to develop that level of understanding based on the purity from the jagya which we are performing. Then we can surrender to, then we can renounce.
So basically, it means that Krishna is, first telling that, this is the best thing, and then he's, telling gradually that not everyone can directly come to, worshiping Krishna. So he's giving this thing, the demigods, and gradually come to this thing. Is this the thing?
Krishna in chapter 7, Krishna says worshiping demigods are done by less intelligent people. He didn't recommend worshiping demigods. This is done by less intelligent people, chapter 7. Less intelligent people. So Krishna will not recommend worshiping God. So when we're explaining, I didn't use the word worshiping demigods, I say respect. To show respect is the all living entities.
Okay.
Worshipping is different.
Yes, Maharaj.
So text 13 translation. 13 translation.
The devotees of the Lords are released from all kinds of sin because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin.
Yes. Only devotees are free. The prophet said, the Santas, we always the compact of love with the supremacy of Godhead. Govinda, the giver of all pleasures. O Mukunda, the giver of liberation. O Krishna, the all attractive person, cannot accept anything without first offering each to the supreme person. See the way Prabhupada said it. The Santas are always in the compact of love. You understand that? Compact. You understand that? Do you understand? Compact of love. Compact of love. What is your God?
As what is the meaning of compact of?
Yes, that's why I asked. Compact of love. Do you remember we have a compact disc?
Yes, Maharaj. CD. It is full form.
Compact disc. CD. What does it mean? What is compact?
It's lot of things are there within a small space.
Yes. So Krishna has a form of the whole universe, is it not? Krishna has 3 forms, principally 3 forms. There may be varieties, but principally Krishna has 3 forms. How many forms?
3.
3 forms.
3. Krishna has 3 forms. What are the forms? What are the 3 forms of Krishna?
No, Maharaj. I was telling something different.
Is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan?
Achha,
Yeah. Thank you. You try. A form of the universe, that is one. A universal form of Krishna, that is one. That is one. Second is Krishna's Vishnu form. In the middle of that, the Vishnu and Virat form, in the middle of Vishnu form and Virat form, the form of the universe and Vishnu form, in the middle of that, the middle form of Krishna is Shyama Sundar. So Krishna has 3 forms. So middle
Huh?
form of
Please
Krishna.
repeat. Universal.
Shyama Sundar.
Okay.
Huh?
Maharaj, universal form, Shyam Sundar, and what was the third form, the second one?
Vishwarup. Universal
Yeah,
form.
Like Vishwarup is the first one, and final is the Shyam Sundar. What was the middle one? Second one?
Vishnu form. Vishnu.
Okay.
Vishnu.
Okay.
So Shyama Sundar is the middle Krishna. And so if you look at the Vishnu form, look at the Virat form, and if to enter into a very tiny hand, that is compact. So Krishna is looking at that to say compact in love. The love between the devotee and Krishna is so great. A devotee can love Krishna, so personality can bring Krishna to the size of entering the heart. And see, he quoted this verse from Masamita here. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanina Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Hridayeshu. Compact. Therefore, such devotees always perform jagyas in different modes of devotional service, such as Sravana, Kirtan, Vishnu, etc. And these performances of jagyas keep them always alone from all kinds of contamination or sinful association. So a devotee is free from sin because we eat only prasadam. And what is prasadam? The food which is offered to Krishna directly, and the remnant of that food. Nothing else. Anything which is not offered to Krishna is not prasadam. Only that which is offered to Krishna is prasadam. 14. Anad bhavati bhutani prajanyan anab sambhavahan jagyad bhavati parajanyo jagya karma samudbhavan.
All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yagya, sacrifice, and yagya is born of prescribed duties.
Yes. All living bodies subsist on food grains. It's not coming from factory. Or food grain is not coming from factory. It comes from the field. And we'll give prasadam. Papa said, when there is an epidemic disease, an antiseptic vaccine protects a person from the attack of such an epidemic. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us makes us sufficiently resistant to material affection. And one who is accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, the person in Krishna consciousness who eats only food offered to Krishna can counteract all reactions of past material reactions, infections, which are impediments to the progress of self-realization. So yes, is there a separate need to worship the demigod? No. Why? When Lord Krishna is worshipped, the demigods who are different limbs of the body, the Lord are also automatically worshipped. Therefore, there is no separate need to worship the demigods. But you can show them eventually Krishna consciousness. Next.
Maharaj, I have a question.
There. Yes.
Maharaj, it is seen that in our society, what happens, what you have suggested in text 11, specifically that we must respect the demigods. Okay.
Yes.
But in our society, it has been seen, or it is seen on daily basis that people don't respect the demigods, rather they what they do, they start worshipping the demigods out of fear. They are afraid basically. Like in the Govardhan Leela, Indra Maharaj and Brajvasis were afraid that if we don't worship Indra, then we don't get the rain. We won't get the rain. Then Lord Krishna had assured them, don't worry, you need not worry. So similarly in society, it is seen that people worship demigods. They, whatever you call it, respect or worshipping, but out of fear they do. Whatever they do out of fear. So Maharaj, what do you say about this?
Allah Prabhu said it due to faithlessness in Krishna. The person they are narrating, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada mentioned in that chapter that as devotee we should never worship demigod. Even if the demigods are angry with them, we should not worship them. So it is, as Prabhupada said, it is due to faithlessness because the Brajavasis were not afraid of Indra. They have confidence in Krishna, and Krishna protected them. So we should depend fully on Krishna. If we depend fully on Krishna, we will not have any difficulty with anybody.
Yes, Maharaj. Devotees are not at all afraid of the demigods. They are fully dependent on Krishna only. But in the society, it is same. Everybody is not the devotee of Krishna, actually. Everybody is not the devotee of Krishna. Yes, yes.
They don't have alternative. So what is there for them is demigod. But we have alternative. And we have Krishna, not demigods. Outside demigod, we have Krishna. Because demigod depend on Krishna. Whatever they do, whatever they give to us, they take from Krishna. And we go directly to Krishna. So we have Krishna. So we don't worry about the demigods. We don't fear them. We have faith in Krishna that is there to protect us at all times. So what can they do? They cannot do anything. That is the nature of pure devotee. The Brajavasis show that. And we saw how they were fully protected by Krishna, completely protected. And Indra has to come and beg. The Brajavasis didn't go and beg Indra for forgiveness, but Indra came to beg them for forgiveness. So everything will be complete. All right, so we should get vaccinated, not Pfizer vaccination. It's not Moderna vaccination. That is not. Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Should get a Krishna vaccination. Prasadam, Krishna Prasadam.
Maharaj, should we offer medicine also to Krishna?
Yes. You can offer medicine, and there's a mantra you can chant to offer medicine. Ananta Gobi, Ananta. Sorry, I'm trying because I'm not using it for long. I'll remember it. Don't worry. Yeah, put the whole graph here. Let's see. The circle is a circle. Yes. Yeah, put everything complete. Yes, this is the mantra for offering medicine. Achyuta Ananda Govinda. You got it? Achyuta Ananta Govinda.
Achyuta Ananta Govinda.
Yes.
So Maharaj, before taking medicine, we should chant this mantra?
Yes, you can chant that. I do that. And I got it from one Vedic. This one book I read that in the Vaishnava Katahara. So I read and I got it from the Vaishnava Katahara book. That is where I got it. Vaishnava Katahara. And shoot another Govinda. Yes. Text 15. Karma Brahmurabhavam Jidit Brahmakshara Samurabhavam Tashmat Sarvagatam Brahma Yuktam Jagya Pratishtitam.
Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice.
Good. So we have our nice graph here. All embodied living entities will do what? We are maintained by taking grains. Taking grains. And grains is produced from the rain. Rains comes from performance of Jagya. If you perform Jagya, which is a what? Which is our prescribed duty. Prescribed duty is within the Vedas. And the Vedas are coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the cycle. The Vedas. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas. That's our prescribed duty. It is not just manufactured, it comes from the Supreme Lord. From Supreme Lord come the Vedas. From the Vedas will contain prescribed duties. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work. As one has to work in ordinary life by a direction of the state, one similarly has to work under direction of the Supreme State of the Lord. Such directions in the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said, Asha Mahato Bhutasya Nishwasitam Etajati Greek Bedo Jadu Beda. Some of Veda Atabar Ataravang. The four Vedas, namely the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda, are all emanations from the breathing of the Personality of Godhead. That's it. So we should always remember that the conditioned souls and material nature are all eager for material enjoyment. But the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his so-called enjoyment. Remember, we explained before, if we gratify the senses based on the scripture, we'll get purified. If you gratify the senses out of the scripture, you get contaminated. So Prabhupada is saying here, we should always remember, if you follow the Vedas, you gratify the senses, you also get perfection. Just like we are doing. See, Hare Krishna devotee, we are eating a lot of food. At the same time, purification is coming. Usually, if you want to take any special part, go to the forest. One makes sacrifice there. But today in Krishna consciousness, stay in the house, work, eat, but should be offered first to Krishna and then take the remnant to get purified. This is not easy to be understood. Even personality like Prakasanana Saraswati cannot understand this knowledge. He didn't understand. All his followers could not understand anything. That one can simply chant Hare Krishna, dance in the street, take Krishna Prasad and go back to Godhead. It is beyond their understanding. But a devotee who is fortunate can easily understand this. So let's follow it, because it's coming from Krishna. And we have assurance that certainly we will become pure. We'll give up the Stevie mentality and become a devotee and go back to Godhead. Back to Godhead. All right, 16.
Maharaj, just one question I have. Like Maharaj, you were telling about the three forms of Krishna. Maharaj, I couldn't get that. What was it regarding? I mean, in relation to what you were telling that those three forms of Krishna.
The Virat size or Virat form. Virat form.
Yes, Maharaj.
What is the size? What is the size?
It's infinite, unfathomable, incomprehensible.
What is the size of Vishnu? Vishnu's form. What is the size?
It's still, depends upon which Vishnu we are considering.
So Lord Vishnu is in a heart. How do you call that? It's not compact?
Yeah, it's very compact, only thumb size.
Yes, that is compact. That is why Prabhupada use the word compact. You look at that size. Because I look at the size of Lord Vishnu, locked up in the heart of devotee, Paramatma. And for devotee, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shyama Sundar. So as mighty allocation is Paramano Chantrasam, Adantarasa, Paramano Chantrasam. So Krishna entered the heart of the living entity. What is the size of our heart? What is the size?
Almost the size of our hand and
Fist.
Okay. And then Krishna entered this, compact?
Yeah, Maharaj, in scripture it is mentioned that the size of super soul is the size of the thumb of the body in which the super soul is.
Okay, even the size of a thumb is not bigger than the heart.
It's very small.
It's not bigger than the soul. The size of a thumb is not than the soul. It's bigger, right?
Yeah, yes, Maharaj.
So how something bigger can enter into something smaller? Compact. That is Krishna's name, compact. So Prabhupada used the word compact. So this is what I was trying to explain. Let us understand why Prabhupada used the word compact. And he quoted that verse from Brahma Samhita. Lokayanti, there should be Lokayanti, Vidyavati. You understand, Prabhu? Radhya, Prabhu. You understand?
Yeah, yes, Maharaj. I understand now.
Okay. Vidyavati, that's it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanat Pranam. Maharaj, I had one question. Like you mentioned that devotees eat prasadam and they get purified by eating prasadam. So, but simultaneously we also read in Nectar of Instructions that Atyahar is not what a devotee should follow. So that can affect his bhakti in a negative way. So if a devotee is too much attached to having good prasadam, then like you mentioned, sense gratification is fine even if we are eating prasadam. If I heard you correct, please correct me if I'm wrong. So how cautious a devotee should be while dealing with his tendency of gratifying senses, even if it is that the devotee is honoring only prasadam.
Yeah, I was off. So please repeat your question. I'm sorry about that.
No problem, Maharaj. Maharaj, I was saying that you mentioned that a devotee, if a devotee is honoring prasadam, so even if he is gratifying his senses by honoring prasadam, that will purify the devotee.
Yes.
So, but like if in certain case, if a devotee also is eating only prasadam, but has a tendency of atyahara, like too much attached to having good meals, good prasadam. So that tendency will affect, I suppose, that tendency of over gratifying the senses even through prasadam will affect his bhakti in a negative way.
Yes, Rupa Goswami said that. Over collecting more fund than necessary and also eating more than necessary. vinashati. It destroys bhakti. In the beginning, we should eat a lot of prasada. In the beginning, we should eat a lot of prasada. But as we are progressing in Krishna consciousness, the quantity should be reducing gradually. If it doesn't reduce naturally, means we're not making advancement. So we don't just eat and eat and eat and eat. Literally, we are going to become lazy and not having much taste for bhakti, especially if one eats and we don't have a way of utilizing that energy. Bhimsena. Bhimsena is described as, how Bhima is described? Bhimsena, how's it described?
Vrikodara.
Yes, and the meaning?
Doer of Herculean tasks.
That's all?
Who eats
too much.
Eats voraciously.
A voracious eater and a performer of Herculean tasks. That is how Bhimsena is described. Not that he is just a voracious eater. He is one who does heavy duty and he eats also nicely. So he doesn't have problem. If one eat very heavy and we don't do a heavy job, we're in trouble. Even if it's prasada. So we should be careful also.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, one small question, one more question. Like you mentioned that while offering medicines, you chant Achyuta Ananta Govinda. So, is there any particular significance of particularly these three names of the Lord in regard to medicines?
Yes, why not? Everything has a reason. If you see here, there's no Dhanvantari inside. You didn't call Dhanvantari inside. The incarnation of medicine. It's not mentioned. It's Achyuta Ananta Govinda. Achyuta, one who does not, one who is not affected by anything. You're not affected by anything. Achyuta, you're not affected. He cannot come down from his promises, his status. Achyuta. No, he is permanently on his platform. Permanently. Nothing face. Achyuta. Ananta Govinda. Ananta. So Krishna is unlimited. So limited potency. So he covers all areas. He covers all areas. So all varieties of things Krishna covers. And Govinda, the one who pleases our senses. So Krishna will take care of all our necessities, even taking medicine for good health. Krishna takes care of that. Yes. All right.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Text 16. Evam pravartitam chakram nanu varataya chihaya agayur indriyaramu mogam partasa jivati.
My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas, certainly a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain.
Nice. What's in the script on our screen? What is in our screen?
Memonist philosophy. Should we read, Maharaj?
Yes, go ahead.
The Memonist philosophy of work very hard and enjoys sense gratification is condemned herein by the Lord. Therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of performing yajnas is absolutely necessary. One who doesn't follows such regulations is living a very risky life, being condemned more and more. By nature's law, this human form of life is specifically meant for self-realization in either of the three ways, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga.
Yes. So the purpose of especially human form of life is for self-realization, self-purification, for God realization after that. So if one does not take to that and simply very busy, engaged in what to eat, how to take care of this body, Krishna is saying that such a person lives in vain. Means the purpose of human life is wasted, useless. In the Bible, Jesus said, "Man shall not live by bread alone." It's something higher than this. So Maimonides' philosophy is dangerous, very risky philosophy. It's risky. Work very hard and enjoy sanctification. Animals are perfectly doing that. Animals, they are perfect sense gratifiers. Is it not true?
Yes, Maharaj.
Animals, they do sense gratification better than us. You see, pigs, they can have 12 children at a time. Human beings can do that.
No matter.
So what is the use competing with animals?
Maharaj,
So
I was just saying that, in the West, this is the philosophy that people follow, right? They work hard and then keep enjoying and thinking that their life is good. So it's like all of their lives are getting wasted.
Yes. And are they happy? They are satisfied?
Look to be, but
It doesn't look to be. Why suicide? Suicide means what? Suicide is increasing. Is it true or not?
yeah.
So what is causing that? Satisfaction? Is it satisfaction? The one is very happy, satisfied, and committing suicide?
Yeah, depression cases, suicide.
Depression is increasing. Chintama paremeyam, immeasurable anxiety. For those who are not on the path of self-realization, that's all they will get. This anxiety continues to death. So they can claim, yeah, we have all facilities for sanctification, but where is that satisfaction? Where is the happiness people are looking for? Miserable, they're lonely, depressed. Depressed means what? What is depression? In a simple way to understand depression, what does it mean? Or what causes that?
Unhappiness. Yeah.
Depression means that the soul is suffocating the body because there is no nourishment. The soul is suffocating. That's depression. Due to excessive sense gratification, our interest is centered on the body and forgetting the soul. Depression. You don't see people who are very happy committing suicide or feeling depressed. You never see. You will never see. Never.
Yeah.
So they can pretend to be, but their life is full of miseries. Why people are surrounding themselves with so many dogs, but not human beings? It's frustration. We don't want that frustrated life. We cannot consider that life. That's a miserable life. 17.
Maharaj, I have a question. Maharaj, this is Maimonist philosophy. Of course, what is Maimonist philosophy? You have explained it. It is written on the screen also. Work very hard and enjoy the sense gratification. I would like to know the background of this Maimonist philosophy, if it is possible for you to tell us. Who was, from where this philosophy came?
Maimonist?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Okay.
Who is this? Who is their creator, their origin? Sorry, their leader. I don't remember. Who is their leader?
Okay. No issue.
All right. 17.
Maharaj, I had one question. Maharaj, is this philosophy, the Maimonist philosophy, can you go back to the previous slide? Yeah. Maharaj, is it different from the Charvak Muni, or I mean, it is the same philosophy of Charvak Muni?
Charvak Muni is what? Beg, borrow.
Like, yeah.
Beg, borrow, steal. Get ghee. Enjoy. That's a philosophy.
Yes, Maharaj.
So you are saying that the Maimonides that is part of his philosophy, his teachings? I don't know. That is part of his teachings. But that is their philosophy. Ghee is their goal. Ghee is their goal. The goal of life. This is a goal of life. To get ghee, you must enjoy ghee. For that, you should beg, you should borrow, you steal. Whatever it is, get ghee. That is animalistic. That is animal. It's not a philosophy, it's an animal. Animal life. Yes. So you're saying you're coming from there? The Maimonist is coming from there? Their philosophy? I don't know if it's coming from there. Hare Krishna.
I'm sorry, Maharaj. Actually, I have not lost my connection. There was a network issues.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Let's continue. 17.
Maharaj, just one more question, if you don't mind.
What is it?
Like Maharaj, in this verse 9 to 16, so I mean, like we come from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. It is mentioned that this verses come from 9 Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga.
Yes.
So Maharaj, can you tell that how, I mean, this later verses tell more about Karma Yoga and not about Karma Kanda, which was the thing mentioned in the verses 11, 12, 13?
Karma Yoga, Niskam Karma Yoga. Niskam Karma Yoga, we do things with detachment. And that detachment, it is because we're offering the result to Krishna. So it's above the karma, which is karmis, as you mentioned, karmis. One who is gratifying the senses based on the scripture. We get the result of what we are doing. But niskam means that I'm not getting the result personally for myself. I'm trying to offer that result to Vishnu. She will get purified from that. And that helps us to develop a knowledge to realize the Supreme Lord is there, Vishnu.
And Maharaj, what is difference, exact difference between Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga? Like this Kanda Yoga, these two verses, is the difference. What is the difference exact?
Karma Kanda means that I'm doing something and I get the result. Karma Yoga means that it means that I'm not getting the result personally. I'm doing it as a means for me to get purified, to get Lord Vishnu. That is Karma Yoga because it's connected with Krishna. But the Kanda means that it's not connected with Krishna. I'm just using that to gratify my senses.
Okay, so means karma kand will moreover be, you know, it is
Like
more
a
for demigods.
selfish person.
And Maharaj, like in karma yoga also there is a calm karma yoga, so that thing is also selfish.
The difference is when one offered the result to Krishna, not for me. That makes the difference.
But
When
Maharaj,
the result is for pleasing Krishna, it makes it different from when the result is not for pleasing Krishna, it is for myself.
okay, and Maharaj, so like if you talk about these two things, Sakam Karma Yoga and Nishkam Karma Yoga, although here in both the things we are offering result to Krishna, but in Sakam we have an ulterior motives. But in Nishkam we don't have ulterior motives.
Yes. No ulterior motive. Niskam.
And Sakam we do have.
Yes.
So basically in Karma Kand we're doing it for demigods, and in Karma Yoga we do it for Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is this? Okay.
Yeah, like that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, can we take a break and we'll be back after 10 minutes? See you back after 10 minutes. Hare Krishna. Enjoy your break. You should not stay on your screen. Don't leave your screen. Leave your book. Just leave your book. Just go out, stretch your leg and stand up.
Yes,
Move around, see something different from your screen.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the break.
Take some juice, some prasada. I'll see you back after 10 minutes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
All right. Our break is over. So we continue. On text 17 and 18. (17, 18). Jastvatmaratyeva shyad atma triptascha manava advadeva cha santushtas tasa karyam na vidyate naiva tasya krite naratu na krite neha kashtana achasya sarva bhutesu kaichidarata yapashraya. Translation.
17. But
17,
for one,
yeah, and 18.
but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. 18. A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being.
Very good. So 17 and 18 is talking about admirati. I describe admirati. One who takes pleasure in the self. Such a person is not concerned about loss or gain while performing his duty. Because performing the duty is our right. Krishna is going to speak that later. The result is not our right. The result is for Krishna. So if we want to be admirati, then we should have this in our consciousness that my right is to perform my duty, but the result is not my concern. That is for Krishna. This does not mean I want to be whimsical. Well, I'm doing it because I'm not expecting something for myself. So therefore, I can just do it because I have to do something. That is wrong. That is not the activity of, or a consideration or understanding of an admatripti. One who is taking pleasure in the self, because it's what? He is, okay, so he is what? Admirati is admatripti. He is satisfied. One who is satisfied in his Krishna consciousness. We're simply busy with. Look at the Kshatriyas standing here in this war. They are not fighting because they want to win like Dhir. And not all of them were fighting to win a kingdom. Majority of them who fought here, and this battle of Kurukshetra, they did out of duty. They didn't do it because they hated the Pandavas. They didn't do it because they want to enjoy the kingdom. They didn't do it for anything, just for their duty, because they know that by performing one duty, there is elevation. There's elevation. For one who takes pleasure in the self, one who takes pleasure in the self, Atmarati. He is a self-illuminated person. And who is satisfied in himself alone, fully satiated. For him, there's no duty. Means what? His activities does not bring karma. Big karma. He doesn't bring big karma. That's what it means. He has no duty to perform. You know that he is a whimsical person. He is a self-realized person. A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness, no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly cleansed, an effect of many, many thousands of Jagya performances. A self-realized man is no longer obliged to perform any prescribed duty, save and except activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not inactivity either, as will be explained in the following verses. A Krishna conscious man does not take shelter of any person, man or demigod. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of his obligation. Another point for us to understand here is for one who takes pleasure for one who takes pleasure in the self, one who takes pleasure in the self. In this material world, what is our vision? Everybody think like this. My happiness, my pleasure is in someone's body. Therefore, I look for that person to get my pleasure and my satisfaction from the person. I will never get it. We'll never get it. Because our pleasure, our satisfaction, our enjoyment is not in someone's body, it is in the self. Atma tripti, atmarati, atma tripti, atmarati, atmarati. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
He is not disturbed by obstacles. Admarati, Admatripti is not disturbed by obstacles. We have mentioned before that for a devotee, for Admarati, all challenges are stepping stones. And for one who is not an Admarati, all the obstacles are stumbling blocks. Paripantino. Yes, Taji? What's the question or comment?
Maharaj, I beg forgiveness. I think I was late by a minute. Maharaj, Atmarati, which you are telling, satisfaction in oneself. Is that satisfaction in oneself? Like, I think I have missed something. But serving Krishna, by serving Krishna, we get satisfied. Is that meaning that?
Yes, if you serve Krishna, you get pure, get purified. So be happy inside. No, as I said, we are looking for somebody to give us happiness. That is wrong. And that's what everybody is doing this material world. My happiness, my pleasure is in my body. Come and give it to me. That is wrong. Everybody thinks like that. My happiness, my joy, my pleasure, satisfaction is someone's body. So I'm looking for that person to go and give it to me. We'll never get, because that is not the right way. The right way is become Krishna conscious. You get it right from there.
Maharaj, I have a question, if I may ask. Maharaj, you mentioned that we all should do our actions as a matter of duty, not being attached to the result. So my question is, sometimes when a spiritual master ordains an action to the disciple, gives him an instruction, and he's unable to achieve that desired goal of that instruction. So should a disciple be attached to that result of that effort, or detached? Because sometimes we feel anxious or sad about not being able to offer the desired result to our spiritual masters. So if you can help us, what should be the ideal mood towards the result of actions that are prescribed by the spiritual master to the disciple?
I was answering this question to some devotees on Sunday. So I gave example of Prabhupada and his disciples. This is Shamasundar Prabhu. He did the first Atayatra in London. because it's one of those people, devotees, proper sent to London to start the temple. So they started a temple and they also planned for Ratha Yatra. The first Ratha Yatra they conducted. They couldn't make it to the end because the cart broke down on the way. So devotee were really, they were really very disturbed that, oh, I had disappointed my Gurudev. I invited him all the way. He came and I didn't satisfy him. I didn't give him opportunity to preach Krishna consciousness, heavy kirtan from the beginning to the end and have a panda program for Guru. And see, the devotee was really very bad, was feeling bad. I was expecting, yeah, Prabhupada is going to be very angry and will chastise him like anything for being a useless devotee. So that was the feeling. So when everything was over, and he wrote to explain to Prabhupada, so Prabhupada told him, that is not a problem. And I am not disturbed. It's the first time you are doing this. So you try your best. You try your best. Somehow or other something happens. So I cannot crucify you for that. You try your best. Therefore, the effort you have put into your service has satisfied me. And you should be satisfied with that. Did you get the answer?
Maharaj, yes, I understand that our spiritual master will always be satisfied with the effort. At the same time, if I may just ask further, how should the devotee take it? Because if we be detached with the result, we may feel very complacent also at times, that it doesn't matter what happens towards the end. If I've done some sort of emotional attachment, is that helpful in Krishna consciousness or not?
Yes, it is. It's not bad. If anything which will help us to perform our duty nicely, it's not bad. It should be done. That is what our acharyas give to us as a way to measure our duties. Whatever, because improve our Krishna consciousness should be adopted, should be followed. I already mentioned that this is not the chance for us to become musical. And that is not it's not, the activity of an Admirati. Because this person is not an ordinary person. He is an elevated soul now. He's an elevated soul to come to this level and acting like this elevated soul. So the fact that, a devotee is not doing well, whatever I do is all right. No, that is not the mental. That shouldn't be our mentality. That whatever we do is all right. It is not all right, but we should try our best. And if you try the best you can, sincerely from the heart, that sincerity will show. The Guru Krishna will see it. If you don't try sincerely, it will sin. One day, devotee, some devotees, they went to Sankirtan. And one devotee, he distributed 20 small books. And another devotee distributed 10 small books. Master Master glorified the one who did 10 books. And the one who did 20 was feeling bad. I did 20, he didn't say anything about me. Someone did 10, which is less than mine, and is glorified. I didn't understand this. So he asked the Gurudev, what's the reason behind it? So Gurudev told him, you have capacity to have done more than what you did. But you didn't do that. You're lazy. But this person doesn't have much capacity like you, but he tried the best. So he got blessings more than you. So our sincere effort will show. If we whimsically we didn't measure up to what we're supposed to do, because whatever we do, the result is not matter, then we will not make advancement. It is misunderstanding. So we should have it very clear. We should put effort. Therefore, to help us is the point I'm making. To help us, for those of us who are not in that higher platform, to help us, therefore, we should always be looking for results. And that also can also bring contamination, because our management will be management in the mode of passion. Management in the mode of passion, the devotees, you have a lot of facility in the temple, but devotees are not happy. It's management in the mode of passion. So the point is that we should try our best, but the results will be given to Krishna. Does it make sense?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. I'm very well understood. Thank you.
All right. On the screen, we have text 19. Tashman asakta satatam dharyam karma samachara asaktuya charan karma param abnoti purusha.
Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme.
Working without attachment is renunciation. Renunciation caused by knowledge. Krishna now gives an example of one elevated to perfection by working without attachment. That is 20. To be a good man or a non-violent man is a personal attachment. But to act on behalf of the Supreme is to act without attachment for the result. That is perfect action of the highest degree, recommended by the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna. Vedic rituals, by prescribed sacrifices, are performed for purification of impious activities that were performed in the field of sense gratification. But actually in Krishna consciousness is transcendental to the reactions of good or evil work. The Krishna conscious person has no attachment for the result, but act on behalf of Krishna alone. He engages in all kinds of activities, but is completely non-attached. A devotee is not attached. A devotee is not detached. That's a devotee. He's not attached and is not detached. A devotee is not attached because he knows that everything is Krishna's property and we simply have to use that in Krishna's service. A devotee is not detached because we know that nothing belongs to us. Also, nothing belongs to us. So what am I renouncing? Renouncing what? Someone's property, which is not our property. No, we're not detached because nothing belongs to it anyway. But everything is Krishna's service. So a devotee is not detached and is not attached. So Prabhupada said both of them, good man and non-violent, personal attachment. It's personal attachment.
Maharaj, if I may ask a question with your permission?
Yes.
So Maharaj, you answered Prabhu's question earlier about, attachment and a certain degree of attachment to the fruits of labor performed in Krishna consciousness. Maharaj, every day is not a sunny day. So sometimes, when you do perform some efforts in Krishna consciousness, you may not get the results that you desire in Krishna consciousness. Things may not go your way, or let's say if we're conducting business for Krishna, assuming that we are in 100% Krishna consciousness, but in business things don't go your way, then sometimes you feel demotivated or frustrated. not necessarily for your own personal loss, but because, let's say you're not able to fulfill instructions. How do we tackle that on a practical level, Maharaj?
All the frustration is due to our sanctification, not because we don't fulfill the order of the spiritual master. It is not because we don't fulfill a spiritual master's order. We already explained. When we have attachment for the result, we want to show the world what kind of a disciple we are. And if you didn't get there, you are going to get disappointed. If for our own sanctification, if it is not for our sanctification, we are not going to be despondent. We will not. We will not feel like that. I just gave an example. A disciple, Shamasuna Prabhu, he did that I tried. It didn't succeed. The cart broke down on the way. And Prabhupada told him, you made a serious effort, you try your best, so don't be disturbed that this happened. The next time you correct the mistake that's been made, and you make the best one next time. So Prabhupada didn't feel disappointed. He was not angry, he was not disturbed. And he told the devotee he also should not be disturbed because he's satisfied with the effort he made. So if it is for spiritual master, we will not feel that. For our own, we will still feel disappointed, then we are morose, we are sad. Oh, I didn't succeed. I didn't make the kind of money I wanted to make. I didn't build the kind of temple I wanted to build to show the whole world that people come and say, who made this? It's a Dr. Govind has made this temple. It is that selfishness that will bring the suffering to us. Otherwise, you will not feel it.
Right, Maharaj.
So we should remove our mind. We should remove our mind from attachment and do the duty sincerely with the best of our effort. We will not be disappointed. Even if you don't make it physically, you will not be disappointed. As we mentioned before, the sincerity in the heart, in association with that service we perform, that service we have done, it will show. The Guru will see it, Krishna will see it. And they will reward us. Therefore, we cannot be sad if it is not physically manifested.
Right, Maharaj.
Maharaj, I think I'm relating more to your answer now. I just also remembered Srila Prabhupada's life, that first 30 years when he did not achieve, we don't hear anything of his despondence. He was always determined and trying. So I'm increasingly realizing your answer, realizing the depth of your answer now.
Yes. He tried so many ways. They were all failures. All. Even up to America, there was failure. It was just after some time, things started to pick up. Everywhere in India, everywhere he went was failure. Jhansi is a failure. Mumbai is a failure. Delhi is a failure. Vrindavan is a failure. Everything was, but he never see it as a failure. He never see that. He never see. What he is saying is that he is making an attempt to satisfy his spiritual master, and he's simply waiting for the time to come. Lifetime in preparation. When the time came, everything come up. Yeah, thank you for seeing Prabhupada in this way. Yeah, that's what happened. And we should learn and follow this footstep. That's our system. Sato Brite, we should follow the footsteps of our chariots. Like this. Then we succeed. We'll have a proper, that is the meaning of being aligned with Krishna consciousness. If we don't align ourselves with Krishna consciousness, we may do so many things, we may do all kinds of things, we don't succeed. So one of the reasons we will not make advancement in Krishna consciousness is that we're not checking how we're aligning ourselves with Krishna. There is no emotion in our Krishna. We're simply cultivating knowledge with no emotion. All right.
Maharaj, could you reply the last line? You were saying lying. Lying means lying.
Alignment. You understand? Alignment.
Yes.
Alignment. We are not no uniformity. You have to be aligned properly fixed, properly blend nicely with Krishna consciousness. Then whatever is happening with Krishna, whatever happened with our channel, if we align ourselves properly with them, like we tune to their channel properly, whatever happened, it will flow to us.
Okay, Guru. Thank you.
We will succeed.
Yes.
Maharaj,
All right.
Can I ask? Maharaj, can I ask something? Maharaj, I have also experienced that when some service is given to me, and when I was thinking that I will, whatever I can do, I'll try my best. But if the result is not good, so this is what I could be able to do by the mercy of my spiritual master. So I was thinking. But Maharaj, by doing so, I was not disappointed, but I was not having anxiety also. But in the scriptures, as we see that many times it is said that Mother Yashoda has purchased the anxiety for Krishna. So in the service, if anxiety is there for serving Krishna, then somehow I have personally experienced that the result can be more good, better, I mean. So Maharaj, how to understand that this, I'm more relaxed. Of course, in both the cases, I'm trying my best, but somehow with the anxiety, result is coming much better. But how to understand?
It is not that you're not going to have anxiety. That anxiety should not be a material anxiety, it's spiritual anxiety. Spiritual anxiety will not make you morose, will not make you sad, will not be disappointed. Spiritual anxiety is purifying, very, very purifying. How to package Krishna consciousness in such a way that many people will take to read. How to take care of those who have already taken to Krishna consciousness nicely, that they encourage and are making progress at Krishna consciousness. All these things bring anxiety. But they're healthy anxiety because they have to do with Krishna. Healthy anxiety is spiritual anxiety. So devotee, we shouldn't have material anxiety. We should have spiritual anxiety, because that is purifying. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
All right. Text 20. Karamanaiva hi samsiddhim astita janakadaya loka sangrahama evapi sampashyan karatum arhasi.
Saints such as Janak attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
Yes. Example of perfection by this process. Janak Maharaj. Janak Maharaj, the king Janak of Mithila, father of Sita, who is his spiritual master. Who is Janak's spiritual master? Did you get my question?
Sorry, but I don't know.
Maharaj, can you please repeat the question?
My question was, who is the spiritual master of Janak Maharaj? Who is his spiritual master?
Rashar Muni.
Lord Balaramji. Balaramji. Yes, Krishna said here, kings such as Janak attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. So here, Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't renounce activities. Don't give up your duty. Do your duty. Why? Because and people will follow you, the example. As Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, people don't do things by qualification. The people do things foolishly. Oh, you are wearing green upon white. Okay, I will start to wear that. I wouldn't check to see if it suits me, why I should wear that. We have the money to buy it. In Kali Yuga, nobody check this thing. So somebody see foolishly and start following. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, do not renounce artificially because many people are going to follow you without qualification. You may do some practice there, but people who will follow you, they're not going to do that. Therefore, you will simply ruin their life. So don't do this. Janak was the father of Sita and father-in-law of Lord Sri Ram. Being a great devotee of the Lord, he was transcendentally situated. But because he was the king of Mithila, a subdivision of Bihar province in India, he had to teach his subject how to perform prescribed duties. Perform your prescribed duties. In this way, other people would follow you and become purified. If you leave your duty and go to the forest, people also will follow you and go to the forest. But what would they do there without qualification? What would they do in the forest? They're going to destroy their life. So if you don't teach people by example, we're simply destroying people. For that reason, every devotee, all of us, we are responsible to make a sacrifice to help others. If you're not ready to make sacrifice to help others, then we cannot be a wonderful devotee. Maharaj,
one thing, why Janak Maharaj has been mentioned here in this verse as a great leader who was a devotee. Like there were many leaders who were great devotees in the past, but why specifically Janak Maharaj has been mentioned here?
It's a perfect example of one who is engaged in duty. In the next verse after Krishna used him and used himself. A perfect example of those who did prescribed duty, although they are not obligated. Janak Maharaj was qualified to go back to Godhead. So he doesn't have obligation to perform anything, but he did as an example. Therefore, his name is used here. Krishna also used himself. As an example, Janak Maharaj went through the hell because of his magnanimous nature. Just by passing through the hell, he didn't go to hell, he was at the gate. And people were getting relief. Just the breeze from his body enter into the hell. The breeze from his body, and they got a huge amount of relief from their suffering. So all of them, they cried to him and begged, please stay for a moment. And Janak Maharaj stayed. He didn't go. So Maharaj came there and sent him away. Don't stay here, go. Leave these people to pay for their nonsense. So it's is a great devotee. Not just a king, it's a great devotee. Jajara Tiriti Sresta Tata Devataru Jana Saya Pramanam Kurute Lokastat Anuvarakate.
Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets for exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Hare Krishna.
Yes. As we were saying, few people consider their own qualification before they do something. But majority of people don't look at their qualification. They simply see. They simply look at what is happening and follow without considering their qualification or their merit. So Krishna is teaching. People in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya, or the ideal teacher. Remember that popular story? A lady brought her son to a sage. She said, please, my son eat too much sweet. Please tell him to stop. And he says, bring your child next week. After a week. So she came back after a week and he told the boy, my dear boy, please stop eating sweets because it's not good for you. And the boy said, yes, sir, I will stop. So the boy stopped. The lady was surprised. This simple thing you did for just few seconds. Why did it take you a whole week to do it? What was the answer?
Because at that time, that the teacher was also having so many sweets. So till the time he left the sweets, he was able to preach.
This is character.
And that will come into heart.
Yes, that is character. Teaching is not just speaking words. Teaching is character. It's the character that teaches. Integrity. The sages and I told Sudha Goswami, we are looking at your character, and that is what has convinced us to approach you, to teach us pure Krishna consciousness. It's character. People say knowledge is power, and character is power. It's character. Janak Maharaj has character. Therefore, Krishna is saying, don't lead people astray, because people are going to follow you without qualification. What will happen to them when they go to the forest with you? Therefore, we should make sacrifice, as we say, to help people to become Krishna conscious. It's a need for us to make sacrifice. So for us to be effective and proper seva, we need purity. Need purity. So all of us should take this very seriously. The king or the executive head of a state, the father and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes. Name Paratashti Karatavyam Teshu Lokeshu Kinchana Nanabhaptam Abhaptavyam Partayeva Chakarmani.
O son of Partha, there is no word prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties.
So Krishna offered two examples, Janak Maharaj, who attained perfection by performing his prescribed duties, and now himself. Certainly Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, need nothing. He is God, the source of all. An entire universe can be created or destroyed by his will, although he has no need. Krishna acts according to the scriptures. Krishna acts according to the scriptures. Why? Well, Krishna acts according to the scripture, that is 23. Yadi hyaham karateyam yatu karmanya atendritan mama varmanu varatante manushya partha saravasam.
For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path.
Yes. Although such rules and regulations are for the conditioned souls and not Lord Krishna. Because he descended to establish the principles of religion, he followed the prescribed rules. Otherwise, common men will follow in his footsteps. Because he is the greatest authority. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Lord Krishna was performing all the religious duties at home and out of home, as required of a householder. This is Dwarka. Krishna performed all that. He will rise early in the morning, 3 o'clock. The sun is rising, the cock is crowing. He will follow without fail. He giving charity every day and perform all kinds of sacrifices. Krishna will perform just to teach us the process. He's the supreme man. Srivas Pandit. He was with Sri Mahaprabhu one day and they were passing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw palm wine. You know palm wine? Palm wine. Palm wine. You know palm wine?
No, Maharaj.
Alcohol. It tapped from a palm tree. It's an alcohol. It's an intoxicant. Palm wine. In Bengali, you have a lot. West Bengali, you see a lot of that. Yeah, palm wine, yes. So Sri Mahaprabhu said, I will go in. Because remember, he was in the mood of a Balaram. I will go in. Can anyone stop me? Is there anyone who can stop me from doing anything? Srivas Thakur hailed him and said, my Lord, if you go there, I will commit suicide. Mahaprabhu said, anybody there that can stop me from doing what I want to do? I'm not independent, the supreme. Srivas Pandit said, yes, you are the supreme. Nobody can stop you from doing anything. Nobody can stop you. If you go there, I will commit suicide, because people will not understand your position. They will never understand who you. They don't know who you are. They don't know that you are the supreme person for them. They will see you as a sannyasi. You are taking alcohol, and they will blaspheme. And I will not be able to take that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I'm sorry. If you don't like, I will not do it. And he didn't do it. Teaching by example. If a devotee do something wrong, it will affect people more than non-devotees. Is it true? Is that true?
Yes, Maharaj.
A devotee can do something very small. Non-devotee, they can do very big thing. Now nobody will see it. A devotee will do little, the whole world will see it. We have the responsibility to lead the world. Therefore, our responsibility according to Prabhupada is huge. Huge. And we have to be diligent in doing that. So Prabhupada, Krishna is saying, if I ever fail in my duty, yes, failure to do that, we are putting the whole world in danger. So our charity, they recommend, even if one is a Paramahamsa, we should follow the principle as if we are neophyte. For many reasons. One reason is to teach the world. Second reason is that people are going to, they will start imitate us. And they get destroyed. They will have to follow. To help people remain Krishna conscious. 24. Not 24.
Maharaj, can I ask one thing?
Yes. What is it?
Maharaj, thank you so much. It was really I was really able to understand about prescribed duties as Krishna is saying. But Maharaj, I wanted to ask the story you said about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But how to understand that someone is instructing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to do something or to not to do?
You know, the instructing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said that if you enter there, people will not know you are the Supreme. They will not know. They are going to see you, say Sannyasi, and they will blaspheme that. How will I tolerate that? They will blaspheme. They are destroying themselves. So for the purpose of protecting the foolish people, do not do like this. He's not instructing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's simply requesting the Lord to protect us and protect people whom he has come to deliver. Okay. Taken to Krishna consciousness, don't you know that taken to Krishna consciousness, you cannot do what you like again? You don't see that? Did you see like that? You feel like that? Now I cannot do what I like. Did you see like that?
No, Maharaj, everything we can do in Krishna conscious way.
As a devotee, there are many things you cannot do.
Oh, yes. Yes, Maharaj, yes.
Now, a devotee had to think, if I do this, how will people take it?
Yes, Maharaj.
You have to think. Before we do something, you have to check it very carefully. How will this affect people? Positively? Yes, okay, do it. Negatively? No, don't do it. As a non-devotee, that consideration is not there. Don't do whatever you like, and that's all. Let others go to hell. But devotee, have to check very carefully. 24. Usidhe yudi me loka na kuryam karma chidharam sankara secha kartasham upahanyam ima praja.
I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings.
Yes. Yes. So we have to follow in the footsteps of the Lord. We still have to remember that we cannot imitate him. Following and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting over and here, as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instructions, but we may not imitate him at any time. Yes, following Krishna's footsteps by doing our prescribed duty, even if we're not obligated. For example, even I'm not going to eat, but because I have to do that service for others, I'm going to do it without grudge, without feeling anything negative. We should do it because it's for others. Therefore, whatever there is, general disregard of regulatory principle, the Lord himself descends and corrects the society. We should, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footsteps of the Lord, we still have to remember that we cannot imitate him. Yes. 25. Sakta karmanya didhyam so Jata kurvanti bharata koryadi vidhvams tata shaktas jikisu loka sangram.
As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path.
Yeah. Yes. You can read.
A person in Krishna conscious.
A person in Krishna consciousness and a person not in Krishna consciousness are differentiated by different desires. A Krishna conscious person do not do anything which is not conducive to development of Krishna consciousness. He may even act exactly like the ignorant person who is too much attached to the material activities, but one is engaged in such activities for the satisfaction of his sense gratification, whereas the other is engaged for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, the Krishna conscious person is required to show the people how to act and how to engage the results of action for the purpose of Krishna consciousness.
Yes, the six Goswamis were fully renounced. They have no single attachment for anything, zero. For the constructed magnificent temples. Is for who? The temples they constructed is for who?
For people in general, for all of us.
For us. Otherwise, if you go to Vrindavan now, what will you do if those temples were not there? The Pandavas, they accepted the throne. Yudhishthira Maharaj were thinking, this position will help me to expand Krishna consciousness. That was the only reason why Yudhishthira Maharaj accepted that throne. Otherwise, he has zero interest in it. But he is serving because it will help him to expand Krishna consciousness. That is the only reason. So a devotee is ruling, a devotee is doing so many things. The intention, the desire, the interest is different from that of the karmis. 26. Na buddhi bhedam janayet agyanam karma sanginam Jushayet sarva karmani vidwan chukta samacharan.
So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant man attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
Right. Although the ignorant man is not to be disturbed in his activities, a slightly developed Krishna conscious person may directly be engaged in the service of the Lord without waiting for other Vedic formulas. For this fortunate man, there is no need to follow the Vedic rituals, because by direct Krishna consciousness, one can have all the result one would otherwise derive from following one's prescribed duties. Do you understand?
Yes,
You
Maharaj.
understand that?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes. Yeah, if you don't do this, we're going to cheat a person who is a bit elevated. If you keep everybody there, if those who have already transcended this level will be cheated, because we'll be suffocating them, because they need to be promoted to go to the next stage. So if you push them to remain there because of formulas, they will suffer unnecessarily. Therefore, chances should be given for people to progress in Krishna consciousness. 27. Prakriti krimanani kriyamanani gunai karmana saravasa ahankara vimudharma kartaham iti manyate.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself as the doer of the activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
Yes. This verse is one of several in the Gita that discuss the doer karta. Here, Krishna explained that while the foolish conditioned soul thinks himself the doer, the one accompanying him, accomplishing his work, the work is actually being carried out by the three modes of material nature, gunas. So for purpose explained. However, refers to an ultimate doer in his purport. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. That topic will be discussed again in chapter 4. But here we have a direct Krishna consciousness. One can have all the results. Two persons, one in Krishna consciousness and the other in material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide group of difference in their respective positions. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. The person in false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently. That is a symptom of his nations. He does not know that this gross and subtle body is the creation of material nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as such, his bodily and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. So this is ignorance. We should develop knowledge to understand that we are not a doer, but we are simply acting under the mode of nature, the three mode of nature. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I have a question. Is it time now, or should I ask it tomorrow?
You can ask now. Let's see. We'll take only one.
Yeah, Maharaj, this verse is saying that that the work is actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. So, as practicing devotees, there are many spiritual activities we do, like deity worship, chanting, hearing, many things we do, but we are also doing them under the three modes. We're not out of the three modes.
Yes.
So who's the doer of these activities? This verse seemed to suggest that the three modes of the material nature are actually doing or making us do. So how do we understand this?
It means that everything we do is influenced. We're influenced by mode of nature. Not that the mode are coming to do, or we are just sitting down, the mode is doing. No, we are influenced to do that. It's just like somebody pushing you from back. Somebody pushing you from the back. Arjuna is going to ask Krishna, what is that force pushing me to do something, even though I don't like it? Who is that force? Says somebody is pushing us from back to do something. Somebody put pin behind you. What will you do? You have to move forward. You have to move forward. So this is what is happening. The more they are influencing everything that we do, everything. That's what it means, that the more it's doing. It makes sense?
So generally, Maharaj, we tend to accept this phenomenon for bad things, that whenever someone is doing a sinful activity, we usually understand that the modes are sort of pushing him to do so. But what about the spiritual activities was my question. Are these also, I mean, can we say that the three modes are also encouraging us to do our activities of devotional service?
Yes. Under the devotional service is under the internal potency of Krishna, not external. So that is working. And that is how we can make progress in Krishna consciousness, because the spiritual energy is working, is pushing us. As the mode is pushing, the spiritual energy is pushing. Both are pushing. And Prabhupada said, let us continue, and the spiritual energy will win. Krishna will win. Let's keep on the fight. Krishna will surely win.
So we are saying that, Maharaj, both a person doesn't need to be liberated for the internal potency to act on him. Both the energies, even at the conditioned level, work together.
How will you get liberated? You cannot just sit down and one day get liberated to do liberated activity. No, we have to engage in this activity and gradually transcend the mood to come to that liberated stage. Then we'll do something. And what Krishna said, Mad Bhaktim Labati Param Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Naswachati Nakansati Samasavisu Bhutishu Mad Bhaktim Labati Param. Krishna said, by steadily engaging in Krishna consciousness, one will develop the purification, the strength to transcend the moods and come to the stage where we do devotional service, which is blessing to Krishna. That is a process. Does it make sense?
Thank you. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank all of you very much.
Maharaj. Thank you so much.
See you tomorrow, the same time. Hare Krishna.